G'day, my name is Paul Matthews. This week in the AI for Teachers Digest, I wrote that teachers are like chefs. We want to cook up great lessons. We don't want to cook ourselves. So I want to show you some of the things that I do to cook up really good lessons for my students without frying myself, okay? Our classes have got more complex needs than ever. There's a higher work requirement on teachers than ever. Here's how I use AI to manage that well so I can not only just cook up good lessons, but I can actually arrive in the classroom with enough effort and energy left in me to sit down and enjoy that with my students. All right. So we're going to be looking at a lesson on biomes today. Lesson on biomes. And my class, let's say it's got 30 different people and it's got a couple of learning plans in there. It's got people who work at different rates. It's got people who are reading from like a really high level, 99th percentile down to 17th percentile. Let's have a look at how I would manage that and plan the class, plan a great and interesting lesson, but do it in a way that everyone gets to learn, everyone has access. Let's have a look. I'm in MyTeacherAide. I'm in the lesson planner. This is where I often start off. We've selected geography, we've selected year 9, and I've gone into the embedded curriculum here, which is the Australian curriculum, and I've copied and pasted in some achievement standards and content descriptors. You can see them here. If you use a different curriculum, you can just copy and paste right in to that area your own achievement standards or content descriptors. And we're going to click Let's Go. What that's going to do is it's going to give us a lesson plan. It's going to be a lesson plan that's got a bunch of different things that I, as the teacher, can pick from, and I'll know my context and my learners and my class. So I'll be able to pick the things that work well for us. You can see we've got our learning intention, success criteria, curriculum alignment, a context statement, some key points for direct instruction. I might say expand on the key points of direct instruction, include facts and data. So what I'll do then is, of course, like I've taught this unit for many years in a row, so I sort of know what I would say for my direct instruction. But say I'm looking through my learning plan, and there's some students there and they have really low auditory processing. Well, what I can do for them is I can sort of copy this information here, which is the information I might use for my direct instruction at the start of the lesson, and I can give it to them. An A4 sheet of paper. They can read along, or they can read in their own time. But that's just making it more accessible for them. I'm giving the information to them in a way that they understand it. So that's really good. Let's have a look here. We've got some learning activities as well. So direct instruction is offered there. A characteristics comparison. So they might be comparing 2 or 3 different biomes. That's activity number 3. So I might say, write a task sheet for activity 3. So now I've got my direct instruction. I've got it printed out so I can give it to the students with low processing. I'm now going to create a task sheet here, and this is clearly chunked with nice headings and bullet pointed for the students I know who need chunking of their instructions and clear written instructions. Again, their auditory process is low. So what does that mean? That means that I can cater for them, and it didn't take me half an hour to write. That's great. Say I've got some students who actually need extending. Right? They need extending. Create a more advanced version of this task for students who need extension. Prioritize analysis and synthesis, and we might even say debate. All right, let's have a look at that. So I've got that for most of my learners. It's clearly chunked, it's accessible. But for those students who I want to take to the moon, who I really want to extend them, which we often don't get time for that, do we? Here is another task I can give to the small cohort of people who need extension. That's really good for them. Okay? Now let's have a look here. This might be a reading we do in class. I love doing readings. I think they're great. I ask my students often to read out loud, and it's a great way for them to gain confidence and gain those skills. But for every reading, I've got students in the 99th percentile down to the 17th percentile. So I always, what I'll do is I'll take my reading and I'll run it through the text leveler in MyTeacherAide. That's going to create a simple version for the people who just simply, the students in my year 9 class who can't access a year 9 reading. Right? It's really quick and easy for us now to make sure we get appropriate level material to all of our students. So we're going to run that. That's going to create a simple version. I might even say create a version with dot points. And so then, like when I'm dealing with my 17th percentile reader who's not reading very well, I might give them this dot points, right? Like these dot points. I might copy that into my learning management system. I might copy this for people in my grade 9 class who are reading at a grade 6 or 7 level. And the original one here is something I will be giving to people who are reading at grade level. So you can see already what we've been able to do is we've been able to take some learning materials that we've created and really tailor them for the class. We've done things like chunking instructions and creating clear task sheets. We've done things like creating a sort of a structure for our direct instruction at the start of the lesson that students who can't hear and listen and process very well, they can read along, right? This sort of stuff used to take hours, and now it takes minutes with AI like MyTeacherAide. We also saw that we were able to differentiate the reading. And again, we've got now 1, 2, 3 levels of reading that used to take me ages. And now I can make sure I'm not just spraying out the same reading and praying people can read it. I can actually tailor the readings I'm giving to the reading level of my students. So this is a clear example of how I can cook up great lessons without cooking myself. If that's something you want to have a look at, why not head over to MyTeacherAide and look at a plan. There's 7-day free trial. So you've got really nothing to lose and everything to gain by exploring how AI might help you and your learners.